He has 29 plus years experience of semiconductor industry and currently works with an AI startup called D-Matrix. Prior to D-Matrix, he worked with...
You guys can go home and leave have feast, then those celebrating Navratri, you guys can also be with home sooner. I want to take a minute and thank Ravi and Professor and the cohorts for giving us this opportunity to speak with you. As importantly as I see the participants and your patience to stay all the way through the end of the day, it's really admirable. I really like to have that. Let me put it this way. So you're really kind of all many of us in that regard. In my career with several companies that I've been, I've usually in the tech sector workforce, you see women engineering population usually around 15 to 17, 20%, and then it cuts off. And when you look at the demographics here, there's clearly a very large percentage of women professional students aspiring to get into tech sector, and that's very heartening to see from the diversity perspective. So I would like to not to disadvantage the men participants, students, but I think this definitely deserves a big round of applause from our women learning engineers. Just to take on the theme of VLSI Next, what is VLSI Next, right? So there is VLSI Next for industry, and there is VLSI Next for the students, right? So what is the VLSI Next for industry? Generally speaking, as people say, right, you see a lot of numbers being thrown that it's a 20 million market, it will grow to 120 million and whatnot. There are a lot of numbers given. The bottom line of all of this is follow the money, right? If you follow the money trail, nobody invests money to lose money. Everybody invests money to make more, for profitability. So if you see government announcing large amount of funds for startups in ESDM electronics segment, if you see university incubation getting large amount of funds from state governments and so on. If you see industry reaching out with sponsorship of incubators and so on, all of this basically indicates to you that there's something happening that is good in the field, because so many variety of agencies or institutes would not pour money into an initiative unless they really see a promise of growth, right? And in that context, this industry started. There is really no talk that I like to start without giving respect to the founders of this industry, right? Dr. Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce, 1958, they invented the first semiconductor circuit, which today has grown into trillions of transistors on a chip. And then chips have become the baseline component of building an electronic product, right? And of course, so big in the industry it has become now. And if you look at the size of the industry, about $3 trillion worldwide, 500 billion is just the chip industry. And India, we are at about 118 billion out of that, and almost expected to grow to 300 billion. Same thing, the growth is expected to chip design as well. And all of this, what does it really mean for the country, for the industry, right? So as an industry, we are going to be going into a brand new career segment that has not been available in India so far, and that is going to be part of the semiconductor supply chain, which means manufacturing chips, packaging chips, testing them, characterizing them, productizing them, and this is something has not been done in India except at maybe college level or just a small experimental scale, right? So this is one big differentiator. What is next? This is next, right? What else is next, right? So if you look at what else is next, it is the, Texas Instruments started in India in 1985. That was the first company that it started. And today it's 35 years plus. And in this time, we have really built up a very hefty skill domain in India. And we will be building further on it, particularly in the context of being a talent sources, not only here, but to the worldwide. And in this regard, if you look at foundries being open in US, foundries being open in Europe and many other parts of the world, these movements are happening. Guess where they are looking for the talent to come from? With whatever we used to say, I learned it back in India 17 years ago, and the first such workshop or event that I went to, I heard a lot of industry experts saying that academia in India is no good. And they're not doing a good enough job. Students are not skilled appropriately, right? And if you really look deeper, today you will find an Indian professional in any part of the world that has something to do with electronics or VLSI. Now, if that previous thesis was right, this would not happen. So, really, if you look at it, it's not been the academia. I think if anything, India has really groomed fantastic engineers that have gone world over and be successful. The reverse is not true, right? I mean, you look at students that have studied in many universities abroad. Are they coming in here and being able to compete with us? It is not. The reverse is not true, right? So, what is going to change? So, previously, academia was doing the best it can. Government was sort of in a very little support mode, and industry only cared for the academics when they went to hire. There was no proactive collaboration looking ahead and saying that, look, who is benefiting out of the academic? At the end of the day, it's the industry, right? And today, if you look at it, what all government has done to support skilling, to support job creation, to support innovation, right? To create an environment where students in electronics and VLSI and computer science can feel a very promising career coming their way for the next multiple decades. Right? Government has done its part, right? Academia in India already has a well-established track record. So who is left behind? It's the industry, right? So we have never been proactive to do something that we can look ahead and help academia to succeed. And this is where my today's session is going to be. So in this particular regard, one thing that has happened is, so far in India, the chips, you heard how many chips we are designing, how many percent of the chip engineers are in India and so on. We have gained recognition worldwide is that we are a great destination to execute projects, right? We have not been able to create an image or branding for being an innovation destination. Tomorrow if somebody asks you, who is the world's leading innovation destination? Which country innovates the most apart from US, right? People will just say Israel, right? And so many companies go to Israel because they have branded themselves for innovation, right? If you look at how many patents are being filed out of India over the years, if you look at how much innovation has been driven, but all of it has been captive with multinational companies, right? There has not been indigenization of the IP. There has not been indigenous recognition that these IPs are coming from so-and-so talent source in India. So now India is also at the cusp of rebranding itself from going from being a project execution destination to an innovation leader. And that requires a very different mindset. And that mindset needs to be incubated in our academia. And it needs to be shaped in our academia by the proactive outreach of the industry, right? So these are the things that are happening in India. I'll skip all these slides for now. But I do want to say, that we are as a country, we are at the right time in the right place. If this thing had happened 20 years back, or if it happens 20 years from now, we would have missed the boat, right? So it's a very opportune timing that is happening. And of course, with every opportunity comes many challenges. And those of some of the students, and I really appreciated the concern about environment and sustainability, right? And I don't want to stand here and tell you that everything is great. We look at Yamuna, we look at Ganga, we look at any river. We know what we're doing with our environment, right? When we add our fab plants, it's not going to get better, right? So the ESG is a whole missing segment in India. The good thing is that process nodes that we're going after, 45 nanometer to 90 nanometer, they've been already done by somebody else in Taiwan or other places. And we will be able to take their ESG practices and be able to implant them. Right? We haven't started that yet. We cannot sit here and say that everything on sustainability will be fine. We are attempting, but policies are not there. Enforcement is not there. You sit into conferences where states argue with each other about wanting to have a foundry. And guess what they're giving? They're loaning, they're giving away the natural resources of the state. That could have utilization. A lot of fertile land is going into making development. Right? These are not the right things to happen. But all of these are challenges for any country that steps into a newer field, and so it is for us. And as long as you are the future of the country, right? As long as the younger generation cares for environment and sustainability as much as they care for the pay package, I think there will be a good balance, right? So there are many good things that are happening. One other thing that needs to also happen in this, again, as an industry, we need to reach out to the academia and help Harvard, is change the mindset of everybody wanting a job to creating a job. India is at a cusp of huge entrepreneurship. I mean, somebody was asking earlier the question about DLI scheme and so on. I mean, you are looking at government giving hundreds of crores of rupees to start your own company. Right? Which country in the world offers that kind of incentive? Right? And we are still sitting here debating whether it's a 3 lakh or 5 lakh. Right? It's missing the trees for the forest. Right? You have to really see, and I understand the economic necessity. I came from a background, my mom was a teacher, dad was a clerk, right? And one thing that I wanted was a good job. And that good job was 1,200 rupees a month, right? But it was not something that we shirked upon or that we looked down upon, right? It was a starting point. And then we knew that once we start there, and as we pursue our passion, as we pursue what we like to do, and do it well, things evolve over a period of time. That's not the India today. That was 30 years ago. Today the pay packages are far better, living conditions are much better, work conditions are much better. I mean, if I tell you that in a workplace there were not separate toilets for men in those days, right? Today we are talking about equity and equality, right? Which is an entirely different ballgame, right? So I think the environment has improved in a significant way, and the whole mindset needs to really change at the student level from an entitlement to what can I do to be successful, right? And what can I do to leverage what all is coming my way? How do I look for an opportunity and make the most out of it, right? There are a few other points, and I'm sure we'll have some other opportunity to cover those as well. The question is that can we succeed when we have so many challenges, when we are foraying into brand new field? We are going to be competing against US, competing against Taiwan. These are all very, very advanced countries. As a India, with our population size, with our infrastructure challenges, can we compete, right? And can we succeed? And are we ready? That's a fundamental question. And that question, I think we just have to look at our track record and we will have an answer. So today, if you hear about what's the most exciting technology segment, what is the most exciting product segment that's being talked about in India, which is a brand new, product launch is happening in the domain, and you hear about it, right? And that's a electric vehicle, right? That's a whole. Everybody talks about electric vehicle being a fantastic thing happening now, but guess what? If you really look at our track record, and I love this story, right? Electric vehicle was in India in 1994. We are here in 2022 debating where does India take, right? And we were the first in the world to develop electric vehicle, not only design, but also manufacture. Right here in the backyard of Mysore, in Bangalore. Right? Reva was the name of the company. Not only we manufactured, we designed, manufactured 25 years before the world got to it, but we exported to 26 countries. Right? And that is before government gave any benefits, incentives, PLIs, nothing. Right? So what it really takes is a passion. What it really takes is a vision. If you have those, the rest of things can come together. Right? I think climate is much better. So I have no doubt that I think with looking at the inquisitiveness that you have, the energy that you have, the enthusiasm that you have, the patience of sticking through, running 12-hour day by the time you're reaching 5 o'clock here, right? It's very inspiring. I feel that we have what it takes, right? There are a lot of things that are happening, and I'm not going to go through this detail, but I just wanted to flash it for you. These are all organizations that you can think of that are trying to nurture the VLSI system in the country, electronics product system in the country. And what is the VLSI NEXT for students? Right? So what is it for you? Of course, industry is going to grow, businesses are going to make money, there are going to be jobs created, right? So there are business opportunities for you, also there are growing job opportunities. So if you look at the next decade of India, right, there is going to be, so what has been our fundamental challenge? And I think this has been beaten like a dead horse, so I will not go into it much. But if you really look at it, when you look at our students, even if they spend a lot of time studying fundamentals, and I can stand here and say that students don't have fundamentals, but that I didn't remember fundamentals. I just lucked out somehow. Right? I studied as hard as I could. There was a methodology, there was a structure, there were labs. 10 students used to crowd around one table. You never got a chance unless you go there on Saturday. Right? So there are limitations for system. Right? I can sit here and preach that there should be better. But what you are doing today, right? With what you are doing today, there is one additional thing that is happening, is that you learn your fundamentals well to the best of the infrastructure that you are part of, but on top of it, there are organizations wanting to step up and offer you the opportunity for industry readiness. And I will cover in some of my next slides what we are trying to do to reach out to students and say, how can we help, right? AI/ML has been much talked about. AI/ML is here to stay, and it is going to replace a lot of jobs. There is no question about it. So there will be upskilling required, right? A lot of things that we are doing manually today will be replaced by AI now. There is no question. But in the short term, any new technology requires 10 years to mature, right? So if you look at the next decade, there is going to be a lot of innovation in software. There is going to be a lot of innovation in hardware. There is going to be a lot of innovation in the products, right? And all of these are opportunities for the folks that are in the colleges today, right? There is going to be very high demand as a talent sources. I already talked about it. The new job opportunities in the indigenous. So now that government of India is putting a lot of effort to indigenize IP creation. That's why the DLI scheme is offered. Make in India. That's why PLI scheme is offered, right? So what's going to happen is India houses. You hear Tata getting into foundry, Vedanta getting into foundry, right? Those are, today, if you look at it, India market, right? What are we known for other than EV, right? Consumer of cell phones or other electronic goods like television and so on, right? If you look at any of that brand, right? Which brands that are we buying from the world over? All are foreign brands. Samsung, LG, even if you look at cars, mostly Toyotas and this and that, right? So which company in the world is looking to solve the problem of an Indian consumer at a price point that Indian consumer can afford? All powerful brands of the world are looking to solve the problems of the Western world. And then if some of those solutions get deployed in India, and if they pick up, then they pick up and they sell. But show me an entrepreneur saying, okay, let me just sit and figure out, let me go look at the farm and see how can I apply certain technology to make a farmer's life better and be able to create a market, right? Well, there was no profit there. There was no incentive there. It was not easier for me to find a job with MNC and keep going rather than look for Indian problems and try to solve them, right? Now government is giving incentives. So the focus, multinational companies, India is considered rest of the world. There's not too much interest for them to solve problems in India with technology, right? They like to only deploy what they've developed for somebody else. But now this creates an opportunity for entire new product space that doesn't exist in India. And those are newer jobs, newer entrepreneurship opportunities that younger generation like yourselves can really drive and benefit from, right? And the last but not least, the semiconductor and manufacturing, as I mentioned, people talk about lakhs of new jobs are coming to the country because of foundries and related services, right? So having said that, what are the career options and the prospects that you can look forward to, right? So generally, all of the products are under two domains. There is a product domain, and for each product domain, there is a related underlying technology. And for you to succeed as an engineer, you need to have at least a knowledge of one underlying technology. Every underlying technology may map to one product domain or more product domains. And I'll just flash this for you here. I'll not go through each one of them. But these are the various product domains, from defense to consumer to automotive and so on, right? These are all the product domains for which these are the underlying technologies. So as a student, as somebody in the college pursuing bachelor's degree or pursuing master's degree, if you pick up one of this underlying technology and be good at it, you'll be able to map your skills to any of the relevant product domains, right? Now, what happens if you like and if you had opportunity? Not every university has a curriculum designed to give you an exposure of an underlying technology to the fullest of its strength. Right? Some universities do, some universities don't. Nowadays, there's a lot of initiatives going on to redesign curriculum, and equalizations will happen over a period of time. But in the interim, well, you don't have interest in learning underlying technology. Sometimes students like more hands-on work. They don't like a lot of conceptual or math or what have you, right? So this is how generally the current careers map. If you like underlying technology and if you like product domain, right, then you can learn Verilog and be a design engineer as an entry level. Or you can learn system Verilog or FPGA and go into emulation or simulation in the verification methodology or DV job, right? Or you could be a CSE student, computer science or computer engineering, and go into embedded software. So to succeed in these three verticals, There is no point in just learning Verilog HTML. That will not get you anywhere. Or learning system Verilog and UVM. Because you need to be able to apply that to something. You need to have at least foundational knowledge of an underlying technology. Right? Now, if that luxury is not there in the curriculum, or you don't have a liking for it, what are the options you have? So those are the two options that you have, which is one is the design for test, and other one is physical design. These two disciplines do not require any knowledge of the technology and yet offer fantastic careers in the VLSI field, right? And there, these are a lot more hands-on experience-driven tools that many universities are now adopting as part of the curriculum, as part of the VLSI program. And there are also many finishing schools like Coursera and others that coach in these areas. And there are many, as somebody referred earlier, that we hire students and then we want them to go through training. Right? These are the disciplines that they are training in, basically. Right? So these are the career options you have today. Next set of career options, and this is going to be like 3 years away. Right? It's not happening today because it takes time to build the fab, get it up and running, get the product contracts, be able to ship. Right? So 3 years from now, there are going to be additional ones where you need, material science, chemical engineering, physics, solid state, electronics, and then of course the foundry experience. Packaging is another area, testing is another area, characterization, product manufacturing. So these are the other emerging career opportunities. So today, if you go into design for test, 10 years down the road, you can get into testing because that is an emerging career sector in India, and you will be ahead of the game, right? So such that these are emerging career options. Now the question is, right, again, and this I have faced. I've gone to our salespeople and said, why don't we try to do something in India? And he said, show me a Huawei of India, show me a Cisco of India, and you want me to come and sell a lot of chips here? How would I, right? Where are our Ciscos and Huaweis? They need to be created, right? And instead of focusing too much on, a minor difference in who pays more, maybe is it AMD paying more, or NVIDIA paying more, or is it, software paying more, or hardware paying more? One thing that you must do, right? One thing you must do is the second theme of this event that Professor has said, right? What is your spark? What motivates you? And that answer is with you. Nobody else can give you that answer, right? Once you find what motivates you, the next thing is follow your heart. Don't get too troubled of failure. Don't get too troubled of what happens 5 years down the road. This industry is cyclical. It's constantly destroying itself, restarting. Same as technology nodes, right? It's a constant journey. People are able to jump off the train. I mean, I don't know, there used to be this narrow gauge train in India once upon a time. And that narrow gauge train ran so slow that you could get off the train, then run a little bit and catch back and then get in there, right? Industry for the rightly skilled people is always ready to hire, right? So you don't have to worry too much. Let's say today we have that kind of a program, or this hackathon that's coming up, and there is something that you really want to do, right? This is your opportunity to stand out of the crowd, right? There are 150 or 100 students here, right? How do you stand out? Right? How do you make yourself employable? How do you brand yourself, right? By following your passion. And this hackathon is a fantastic opportunity to pick it up and say, look, this is a product idea, I want to try it out. Somebody is willing to fund it. All I have to do is put my time. And I know actually some really fantastic ideas coming out of student communities when such events are held. And focus your mind to whatever you decide to do. When people say that we look for fundamentals to hire you, it's not that these fundamentals are going to carry you for 30 years of a career. Today I have forgotten a lot of fundamentals, but I'm able to perform my job just fine. The reason they say that is when you choose a field, when you choose a coursework, and you are in that environment for 4 years, and if you have not picked up the subject matter, that shows that you are not focused, you are not really serious about what you are doing, right? And who wants to hire somebody who does not want to be serious, right? So your fundamentals is in an interview, when you show fundamentals, it is your way of demonstrating that whatever you take, right, you are able to give your heart into it and be really good at it. Right? And then of course the newer skills will keep learning. Every few years there is a new technology node and we will learn everything again. Right? So that's a key aspect, right? Forget everything else. Find your spark, follow your heart, and focus your mind on whatever you pick today to do and do it well. Right? So having said that, who are we? Why am I here today? Who am I? and what we can do for you. So I'm here representing an association called India Electronics and Semiconductor Association, and it's an industry body with about 250 companies that are the members. And these companies are exclusively in the VLSI and electronics product segment. We have 4 initiatives. One of those initiatives is academic outreach. So while it has taken us time to realize, but as an industry body, we have realized that government has moved very fast. Academia is also doing very well. What we have not done effectively is done outreach from the industry to the academia to support them, right? Oftentimes you see that there are a handful of companies going to the handful of same campuses and recruiting from there, not going across the country. Because who wants to spend so much time, right? As long as I can fill my 50 racks, I'm happy. And if I can go to 10 universities and do it every year, then those are the 10 universities I'll go, right? So what happens to the remaining 2,500 institutes? Right? There are 2,500 institutes in India that teach electronics and communication, electronics engineering, electronics and instrumentation, computer engineering, computer science. What happens to so many institutes that have this talent, right? And of course you hear these words like tier X, tier Y, tier Z, whatever, right? Talent, a rough talent is a rough talent, it doesn't matter what the affiliation or the belonging is, right? So what is really lacking? What is really lacking is that as an industry, we have not been proactive to provide an equal playing field to all institutes in India. So some institutes have done well because of strong government backing, like IITs and so on. Some institutes have done well, like NITs and so on. Again, there is a funding from government. And some private institutes are driven by behemoth of real estate or whatever, and they have flush funds. What happens to the remaining 2,400 plus institutes, right? So this is where we are reaching out through this program that we call Semiconductor Nation Campus Connect. And we want to avail this platform free of cost to every student and every educational institute in India. What is the purpose of this platform? Is on a common platform and say, can we make a match here? Right? Some institute requires an FPGA lab. Some institute doesn't know who to go ask, right? Well, they can come to us and we will put a word out for them among all of our members and say, so-and-so institute is looking for an FPGA lab. Would anybody like to sponsor? Right? And many companies have CSR funds and funds for branding and promotion and all that. The important part is making their industry connect. And today the industry connect has been with only privileged institutes, and we want to really break that monopoly. We really want to make sure that every institute has equal care and equal attention and equal access to the industry resources. Industry job opportunities, industry internships, industry sponsorships, industry access basically. So we are in the process of putting an action plan in place, and under this we want to have opportunity to be able to talk about opportunities in the VLSI segment, so the students do feel a reason to pay attention to what they're studying, right? Because there is a promising career in there. But more importantly, we want to provide the support to the faculty, support to the students, and the support is in the form of, and I'll just call this out. The support is in the form of all of these items that I've listed here. So we want to bring industry experts to connect to each institute who would like to host technical subject matter experts as part of their classroom or part of their curriculum. If there's any technical institute who needs industry help to be on the advisory board, to redesign the curriculum or get the industry partnership on curriculum design, we want to be able to support, right? We are looking for even going forward and providing a self-learning platform which we call 5C plus 1NC. So 5C is a platform that would have a self-learning material that is either curated, collated, created and cataloged for each subject the student studies of electronics and semiconductor. The student studies from semester 1 to semester 4. So what you study in the classroom, faculty could use that material as guidelines to teach from. Students can use that material as a self-learning. And on top of it, when senior projects get assigned, right, we want to be able to find industry sponsorship for the senior projects. We want to be able to provide industry mentors to the institutes for senior projects, right? And last but not least, really provide a connect where there are many industry events happening, and SNUG is there, CDLI is there, Visual Summit is there, VLSI Design Conference is there. We want to leverage the virtual platform, the power of virtual platform, and make some of those available to every institute in India. To participate or not is their choice. But it should not be that a student in any institute, from Gandhinagar to Itanagar, and as we say from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, there should be any student who actually gets left behind because his or her university did not have certain teaching resources or certain lab facilities, right? So it's a very ambitious program. We launched it 6 months back. We are going to run this program over 4 years, and we want to know what your institute would like us to do for you, right? And in that regard, what needs to be done? Again, as I said, there is zero cost to academia. There are no MOUs needed, no bureaucracy. All you got to do is basically search ISA Semiconductor National Campus Connect on Google. It will take you to the web page, and all you do is just click on the follow, and then you have this email address for faculty or student to pose any query. If you're looking for career guidance, if you're looking for career opportunity, if you're looking for senior project selection guidance, if you're looking for industry mentor, if you're looking for a casual technology question, like a lot of questions got asked today here by the student panel, right? This is your, go-to any time of the day, and there is always somebody from the volunteer team who will respond to your query or try to attempt to assist you, right? So this is the program that I wanted to bring to your light, that we rolled it out, and as part of this program, we do put together. So, as a part of this program, we do, this campus tours, and I've done, I think, about 20 universities so far. We've been planning to do more, and we have put together an exhibit of everything from a silicon ingot, silicon wafer, packages, package substrates, tester boards, lab boards, product boards. You get to experience chips, chiplets, you name it, and we have it. And this is the thing that any student who is in a computer engineering, computer science, VLSI, ECE, you will actually have an opportunity to walk through, handhold, touch and feel, ask the question. There will be volunteers who will be willing to, give you a good hands-on feel about what field you are about to study, right? And that roadshow we have been taking to different institutes. We are going to be doing it with Karnataka, and particularly as part of Beyond Bangalore that Ravi is planning. We are planning to host that in Mysore, hopefully within the next 4 weeks. So I hope to see you all there.